being that there is such a disparity in the poor and the rich, but we're looking at the UK, so let's not talk about the other countries. How do people become socially mobile? Because we're told you are. You go to school and you're told that you can achieve anything if you believe it. Do you know what I'm saying? And they point to one person or two people or a handful of people who have done that, forgetting that there's 70 million people in the country. Do you know what I mean? And 85% of them or more are living in a situation which you would describe as deprivation. Do you know what I mean? With the average wage in the UK being something like £26,000 a year, which ain't going to get you no housing anywhere in the country. Do you know what I'm saying? So my question is economic mobility actually possible? Can you actually go from this living standard to that living standard? And if so, how can everyone achieve that? Because there isn't true social mobility if everyone can't achieve it.
Everyone can't achieve it. Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's hard, like, man, because I've been doing some reading. I started reading Cypher Jules' book where he kind of goes into understanding finance and, just giving you kind of pointers in terms of like, one, saving your money, two, investing into your properties, how he started out. And then he kind of went to learn about all these different kind of funds which I had no idea existed. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how the other half kind of make their kind of wealth. We don't really understand about wealth. We kind of are slaves to advertising.
When you say we, who do you mean we?
Just in general, like, we get our money, we spend our money.
Which
I get my money.
Okay,
I'm talking on man them kind of.
I'll give you an example of the kind of situation which I find peculiar. Yeah, I don't know if you are familiar with Slough as a borough, but the difference in economic wealth, money, I don't know the right terminology, in relation to ethnicity is so correspondence to your ethnicity, it's unbelievable. So if you look at the Asians in Slough, you might think they're rich, you might think they're poor, whatever, it doesn't really matter. When you break it down to the Pakistani Muslims in Slough and the Punjabi Indians in Slough, you got two different economic standings in one borough.
I think that goes across the whole of the country.
It may well be. Now, let's take the Punjabi Indians, for instance, as a community. Because not every single Punjabi Indian in the UK is going to be rich. And not every Punjabi Indian in Slough is going to be rich.
Cool.
But in Slough, if you look at, the amount living above, the average wage line and below, you will find the Punjabi Indians are significantly higher compared to the Pakistani Muslims, which are significantly lower.
Do you think that is because we don't really have representatives in local council? Because I remember speaking to one older guy in a barber shop, and he was making a point of like his wife was on the council for the NHS, and like if she wasn't there, then you wouldn't have certain funding for certain black illnesses or black problems, so to speak, you know what I mean? So do you think the one way to resolve that is for people of kind of like our era to be more involved in local council issues where we can speak for what we need? Because I don't know about your areas, but in our areas, like, there's no community centres. All we have to represent us as a community are West Indian food shops and hair shops, not run by black people.
Do you know what I think it is?
You know what I mean?
In my opinion, it's teaching people about the game. And because the thing about it is that what we have to understand is everything that a lot of people aspire to nowadays is things that have been advertised to us by governments and hired people up. So these are all things that are meant to control us in some sort of a way, you get me? So majority of us think this this game that our parents and our grandparents bought into when England was going around going, hey, yeah, boom, come from your Commonwealth countries, come to England, it's so much better here, we're wealthier, da 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 da. They bought into the idea of it's going to be better over here. So now that like I'm like a second, third generation, I'm looking at them dreams that they got sold and like, no, we're not going to be on the same economic level because we're not in the same game. You know what I mean? Like they've given us, it's like the rich 1% are playing PlayStation and they've got their controller plugged in, and they've given all the rest of us the controller that's not plugged into the console.
But do you think that's an ethnic thing, or do you think that's my
yeah,
point? I don't think it is.
That's a self-preservation thing.
It's a rich and a poor thing, because like
but even rich people want to preserve themselves and want to keep rich.
So then this is the question.
That's
I'm saying,
the problem.
Because
they want to stay. They want to stay. Privileged people want to stay privileged.
And we
right.
You see what you're saying about the
Right.
Asian communities,
That's
yeah? Like the Punjabi Indians and the Pakistanis, yeah? Like I read that same King Cypher Jules book. I didn't finish it because it's real deep.
Yeah.
But these times here, what he's discussing in that book is like Peps, Tips, and Easters, or however you pronounce them. That's not what's got those Asian communities having money. That's group economics. So they don't even have access to the knowledge he's talking about.
And I'll say another fact.
They're just putting their money together and spending it amongst each other, so their money doesn't leave their community.
And I'll say another thing. A fact. The Pakistani Muslims, they don't really sell a lot. They don't really have a lot of off licenses compared to the Sikh Hindus, right? We live in an alcoholic world, man. We live in the West. They're gonna make bare dough. Like I'm just saying, like you know what I'm saying. So if you look at the demographic of the Western world, of how you even the way when it comes down to religion, of your theoretically thought of life, that a lot of places, even if you were to go to Whitechapel, there's some places you can't buy any liquor. Because they're Muslim-run shops. It's not a thing. It's just that's the way they believe. I have nothing wrong with that. But what I'm trying to say is they're gonna make less money than the Punjabi who's selling alcohol because we live in England.
But that's what I'm saying.
You understand what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. When it comes to social mobility, yeah, it's not about having a lot of money. It's about being able and having the tools or the route to go from this social economic standing to that. So all of us here, I don't know how much any of you earn in a year, but we're all in the same bracket. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? We're all in the same bracket. And it's like, there's people who are not in our bracket. How do they get from where they are into our bracket? And how do we go from our bracket into another bracket? Do you get what I'm saying? Now, individually, one of us can do that, some of us can do that, blah, blah, blah. But as whole communities, is it possible for everyone to do it?
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, but I don't think that being on them levels is everyone's end game. Is that going to make you happy at the end of the day?
I'll explain why it will make you happy. It's not about having the money. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having the ability to live comfortably, the ability to not have to worry about that next bill, the ability to know, you know what, society is selling me.
It's a balance. It's a big balance, yeah, because like you know, with the money, like people that work in the city throw themselves out of windows, and it's like it's a certain stress. Like it's about balancing living a life where you have freedom and where you're tied into your job.
Right. This is exactly what I'm saying, Thomas. Yeah, it's social mobility is not about having lots of money.
No, but what I mean is to maintain the level of security you're talking about sometimes brings a certain level of stress. Like it's a balance finding being secure, but at the same time.
So let's have a look at it. Yeah. The average wage in the UK is about 26 grand a year, full time. You can't live off of that.
Not in London.
Can't live off of that.
No, but in London, it's a lot harder than somewhere where the cost of living is a lot.
In London, admittedly, it's a lot harder, but that's hard to live on it anywhere.
But imagine you've got 2 kids and you're earning 26 grand a year.
That's if you're lucky.
But this is what I'm saying. But this is why
like that average is took up by the city a lot. So
this is why I'm saying it's the game, and it's knowing the game that you're in. Like, come on now, we're all living in the Western world. We're all living here. So guess what? Even if we don't want to be part of it, we have to be part of it. So this economic equality and all this sort of stuff like that. That's never going to happen because the system that we're in is built on the backs of lower people, making their lives.
You just
so making that transition from being one of the people stepped on to one of the people stepping. Like, I don't necessarily think people generally want to do that, but they feel like they have to. Because that's what they've been given. Like, you're not successful unless you have a whip.
It just goes back to what I'm saying about self-preservation. I said it in the beginning. Regardless of self-preservation, there's an next sense of being content with what your life is, or content of your means of security. Because everyone has a different, like what they would be content with. Whether, I feel content because I'm better than the working class man.
Yeah, but that's not.
I feel content.
But also, that's all based on your knowledge, same way, because you're only content with what you know, innit?
Right.
So if you know better, you might want more, but if you don't, you won't want no more.
The knowledge thing, to tie into what Tony said, leaders that.
I don't think it's about leaders. I don't think it's about leaders. I'll tell you why.
It's about knowledge, but the point you're making is like to improve yourself socially, right?
No. I'm talking about whole communities.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. Yeah, I spoke about this last week. Yeah, there's not one community which I'm aware of, at least outside Atlanta, which is black populated, which is not in a state of deprivation. Deprivation, we know, breeds negative actions. We know this. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like a straight correlation. The more deprivation, the more negative actions you have.
More deprivation, more desperation.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you want to stop these desperate actions, if you want to stop the crime, you've got to stop the deprivation. The only way you can stop the deprivation is by having some kind of economic mobility for that community.
It's never like, come on, like
I'm not saying it can happen.
Okay,
I'm saying, hold on. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying it has to happen.
Okay.
If we're going to get out of this.
As a young man, and sitting back and looking at the sacrifices that past generations have made, becoming immigrants and things like that, moving over to these countries, you know what I see? We need to go back home. And I don't mean I don't mean as in like, oh yeah, let's put on our dashikis and go back to Africa. I'm not saying that. But the thing about it is these worlds, like, I've lived in America and I've lived in here extensively. So I've seen both, and America and England to me are the most Western world places. And they take everything away from us as people that make us independent. You know what I'm saying? The things that would have made us, put us on equal keelings as human beings are taken away from us. Like as a man, like you used to be able to go out, catch food, feed your family. We can't do that no more. We have to go out, go to our job, which
pay someone else.
Pay someone else the taxes, pay someone else the money before we're even able to provide for our people. So when it comes to economic mobility and as far as communities go, it's not going to change unless the whole community turns around and goes, look, we're not having it no more. Yeah. We're not having it no more because as long as it's just one or two people being successful, people are going to write off to, oh yeah, well,
so people take whole communities. Name a community that ain't divided, bro.
This is the question.
My point. Like, if you don't have a community that is like that, you kind of need people to give people some kind of direction or something that they're going to put their resources into.
It's all being thrown in there now.
That was the point that I was going to try and make. You know what I mean?
But individually, people have to do it. This is the problem I've got with the leaders. Yeah, is when you put someone in charge, too many people think it's for them to do it.
No, I don't mean
to
put someone in charge, but like if people have knowledge of how to do shit, people are only in their situation because they don't know they have options. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they don't know. Like people don't know what they're doing with their money. That's it. Like you're getting your money and you're spending your money.
But I mean,
and that's due to like pressures of living. I get that.
And that's knowledge that can be passed through the community. Though. It's not like something that it needs like one leader to pass it through.
No, I'm not saying that you invest
bare man in this room know how to weigh up drugs and sell out drugs, whether they've been drug dealers or not, because that information is in the community. You know what I'm saying? And there wasn't no leader that taught man how to weigh up and scale. It's just knowledge that's amongst us. So that's knowledge that we could just push out there. Like it needs to be trending less than one.
Yeah, but even
on a level,
even with that knowledge, no, but even with knowing that knowledge, how do you keep on that? How do you hold on to that money and put that money, invest it in, because it doesn't get. We just know how to spend it. We just know how to get rid of it.
No,
that's not. Like I don't.
Knowing is not the so if you know better, you do better.
Yeah, no, but man do know better, but they're still
They think
spending
they do.
it. That's what I'm saying.
They don't. Just I like read 2 chapters of that King Cypher book. I didn't know nothing. Like I thought I knew stuff, but we don't know as much as we think we know.
Yeah.
Even in like we're more ignorant than we realize. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This T-shirt right here says it all, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you can't convince someone stupid that, you know what I mean, that they're stupid. And the thing is, you don't know whether you're the stupid guy or the clever guy. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, like I say, for me, I'm not saying I know the answers. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying if we know the main problem to the crime, to the stereotypes, the negative stereotypes around certain ethnic communities, the dividing communities, I don't know the right way of phrasing this, the overt racism that is shown in certain communities comes from deprivation. If we can solve the deprivation somehow, the inequality in these economic environments, then surely those other things will the endemics that are caused by that will be affected. Now, the problem is, let's say someone teaches me, or I learn how to make money. And it might be, you know what, let me sit down in school, let me learn my lessons, go off to uni, get my education, go and get a job that pays decent dough. I'll bring my family with me. I move to another community, which is already there and already economically where I want it to be, where the streets are clean, where there's a lower crime rate, where the schools are performing, and my kid can go to a school where everyone's already performing. That community where I've just left remains in an economic state of deprivation.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Another thing.
Yeah, so how? I'm asking, can
How?
our heads, can we?
No, I don't think us sitting here can, because
We're not in control.
the structure is designed. Look, we've got a conservative government. Yeah? A conservative government is basically landowners. Like you look at the beginning of the Labour Party. The beginning of the Labour Party was trade unions saying we can't slave away to keep these people in castes. Yeah, so you had a movement that said, okay, we need better working conditions, we need better wages, we need this, we need that. But you still, you're still the establishment against the people that are still working. I mean, as far as community go, how many Tesco's or Sainsbury's is there? Like many things that take over shops. So the money is not going back into the community. The money is going to Tesco's. With Tesco's is a corporation.
And here's another thing, without being racist, there's one ethnic group that will run the majority of the shops, and they keep their money to themselves. Like, it's their community is tight knit. That's how they stay, like you were saying.
Okay,
that's how they stay powerful. So therefore, the whole community don't benefit.
What I'm hearing at the minute, what I'm hearing at the minute is got Tupper saying his thing, Tony D saying his thing, Pop saying his thing, everyone saying their thing. But everyone's saying what the problem is.
Yeah, no.
I'm saying, hold on. I'm saying,
you can't expect to win the game when the game is rigged. So the only way we can win is come, boom, let's milk the system. Let's milk the system that's trying to milk us, make as much money as possible, and show the generation below us that guess what? The way to do it is not to sit here and be slaving for 40 years like our parents did, or for 60 years like our grandparents did, but to make our money and go back to the beautiful places that all these...
Make the money how?
I mean, we can. There's loads of ways to make money. How? Okay, let's put it like this, yeah. But if you're gonna sacrifice your happiness and thing to just go to a job just to survive, why would you not do that to say, all right, cool, I'm gonna make what 10 grand and I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna move somewhere else.
10 grand won't change your life.
No, let me tell you something. I can move to the Seychelles. Listen, if I want to be that extreme right now, I can move to the Seychelles for 10 grand. Have a nice little hut.
Yeah, but listen.
It's about changing and doing an action.
Listen to what you just said. Listen to what you just said, and that's exactly the point I'm making. Yeah, I can make 10 grand and move.
No, do you know what I'm going to be doing?
Leaving the community effed up.
No, but you know what it is? People need to understand that. I think in this environment, people need to understand that staying in it
It's worse.
No, how do we change it? How do we make this?
It's already changed. I feel like a stranger in my own community because it's been gentrified, out of my control.
That's another thing I was
So
going to say.
therefore,
It's
the only reason I
now.
want to move is because it ain't the place I grew up in anyway.
My neighbours.
So what you this is.
I'm not saying leaving solves anything.
What I'm saying is
something
this.
on a personal level.
This is what I'm going to say.
I left time ago.
Hold on. This is what I'm going to say, and this is for every single discussion we have. Yeah. We are here because at least we feel we're intelligent people, and we're here because we're aware of the problems. We have to. And the reason we're here is can we sow seeds of solutions? I'm not saying we're going to walk out of there and everything's going to be perfect. Do you know what I'm saying? But, you know, is there a seed? Is there a path that we can start walking, which might start another conversation when we leave here? Yeah. We can keep saying this is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem.
Maybe what I said come across wrong, innit? I didn't mean just up and leave, but I'm just saying actions speak louder than any sort of words that come out of anybody's mouth, or any showing something this, that, and next. Like these men were saying before, that everybody's grown up. Like I know shotters that have been shotting since before I was born. You know what I mean? These men didn't show us, when we were growing up, these men didn't show us nothing but get money, get bitches, sell drugs.
So is it a breakdown of the family unit that stopped the elders teaching the youngers the right thing to do?
Man didn't care because they were playing into the system. They were playing the game that the system wanted us to play. Okay, you're not gonna get a 9 to 5. Cool, sell these drugs.
But they didn't.
But you were doing that thinking that was a rebellious act against the system when you're playing into their hands.
They haven't succeeded.
And also that was to do with circumstance because they weren't getting hired. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
these times the illegitimate market was a place where they could be their own boss.
No, of course, I totally understand that.
It's not like the same man was
it's in them situations, none of them man them did it for the right reasons.
But when they're telling me
I never had an OG come up to me and go, boom, I'm planning to save up 25 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, and I'm done with the dope, baby, because it's not a game to play.
That's not what they was thinking. Man is saying get your money so that you're not dependent on this system, and that way you have more freedoms than just being deprived working for Tesco's, isn't it? That's what man was.
And you know, was going to be looking over your shoulder though as well.
Yeah. But the man in Tesco's got his own problems too, though. You get me? So I'm saying like they saw. You see things. You can only see things from your own perspective. You can't really say.
There's certain risks.
But the things that impacted
No, for sure. It's not like a good.
But what I'm saying is playing that game, yeah. So that shutter or whoever, yeah, he's not broken the chains.
But he's been putting into a whole different game where you got to start worrying about in your life.
Yeah, he's not broken the chains at all. Not in a little bit.
The only way the chains can be broken is on a grand
But he
scale.
did.
Yes.
But that guy did.
And they're very simple. They're very simple things. All it takes is for all of us to just take all of our money out of the bank, not use a bank account no more, and that's it.
It's impossible though.
That's not impossible. Why is it impossible?
You try and park up.
No, it's not impossible. It's not impossible, but it is. But it is because everyone is out. Everyone is out.
It's not impossible.
Right. You got your bills. You got your phone. You got your